Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about our top 10 favorite games of all time, as you saw by the title. And in today's video, I am joined by my friend, cousin here. Go on.
Yeah, my name is Drake, and if you don't really know who I am, I am the person who designed Human in Josh's Mega Man, what he thinks Mega Man 12 will be like, part 2. I thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I've ever been on YouTube. My YouTube channel, or my TikTok channel, used to be, up, and then a bunch of bullies at my school took it down, so you can't view it anymore. But my name is in the title if it ever gets taken back up, so I'll let you go off with that.
So yeah, we're just gonna be telling our top 10 favorite games of all time. So yeah, let's just get into it.
Do you want me to start first, or do you want to go
yeah,
first?
You can start.
Alright, so we're gonna go, before we do this, we're gonna go from our least favorite, but in our favorite games, to our favorite game.
Yeah, from 10 to 1.
Yeah, from 10 to 1. So, for my 10th, if you guys don't know, I'm a retro nerd guy, kind of like a nerd guy, so, all of my games, besides one of them, which is in my honorable mentions, are all on the NES, so you're gonna hear this whole list is gonna be pretty much all NES games. So my 10th game,
10th favorite.
10th favorite game is Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, a lot of you guys will be like, now, what are you doing? Why are you rating it so low? I just think there's so many other good games. I'm not saying that Super Mario Bros. 3 sucks. It's super good. I would not have included it on this list if I didn't like it. So, it's a 2D side-scroller. Mario has a lot of new abilities, and it's really cool. I like how the bosses work and all of that kind of stuff, so that's really cool.
Alright, so are we handing it over to me?
Yeah, actually, we'll also do, what your rating on it is, out of 10.
Alright.
For Mario Bros. 3, I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10, or 8.5.
That's fair.
8.5.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. So, my 10th favorite game of all time is Sonic Generations.
Alright, nice. It's really good.
My, first ever, good, you know what I mean by that, not crappy.
Yeah, first, big standout game.
Yeah, it was my first, favorite Sonic game. It's so good. And, it's outside of the nostalgia. The bosses are good, the music soundtrack is amazing, even though it's just, remixes from old Sonic games. And just everything about this game, I just love it to death and back, but I will say, that one stage that's from Sonic 06...
Oh my god. Yeah, it can go burn in hell.
Yeah, it is literally, it's basically hell. Alright. Alright, so, back to you, Drake.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Oh yeah, out of 10, a solid 8.
Alright, that's good. This one is also gonna surprise some of you NES gamers out there. My 9th favorite game is Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I really like Ninja Turtles.
It's another 2D platformer. I would rate it high, but the only thing that's not making me rate it higher is that one jump before you jump into the water canyon. There's that one jump right before you make it to the top of the electric dam. Dude, that jump is so bad. I have only made it past that jump 3 times. One of those times I beat the game. But, oh god, it was so painful. I'm gonna give this game a 8 or an 8.5, just like before. It's pretty good. I'm gonna move that back on to you, Josh.
Alright, so my 9th favorite game of all time is Skylanders S.P.R.I.T.E. Huge nostalgia for this one. In general, Skylanders is up there as one of my 5 favorite series. And S.P.R.I.T.E., it's definitely my favorite. So much nostalgia. My aunt gave it, my original version of it. I still have the disc, but sadly not the Portal or the 360 I played it on.
Oh, dude.
But actually, if you guys go back, my 3rd video ever was me playing Skylanders S.P.R.I.T.E. while my mom recorded me. So, that's funny.
Right? That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I still have, all the Skylanders and stuff. Still getting new ones.
Damn! That's really sick.
But, yeah, the game, it's fun. A lot of people say it's not the best. A lot of people like Spyro's Adventure and the rest of them more. But me personally, this is just that game. I remember watching so many Let's Plays and stuff. But,
and you know what? That's so valid. It's such a valid point.
And also, I remember I had this one, level DLC thing where you scanned it on the portal and it gave you a whole new level. It was the train one. Oh, I played that the hell and back.
Yeah, I've played this game before. I don't think I've ever told you, but I've played it before. And I also thought that level was really fun.
Yeah. So that's my personal 9th favorite game, and now we're handing it back over to Drake.
Again, before you hand it over to me, before you pass the ball back on to me, what would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, you do keep that.
I'll probably give it an 8.3.
Man, there's a lot of 8 points here.
Yeah.
Alright, are you passing it on to me now?
Yep.
Alright. This is also gonna surprise a lot of people here. Not for it being very low, for being it on my list entirely. Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2.
That's a bold choice.
2D platformer. Kind of like Mega Man. It's
Except
really
you have
good.
a whip.
Yeah, you have a whip. You have a whap. And so you go around whipping a bunch of bad guys, and then you find, then you go inside Dracula's dungeon. You have to find a piece of his body, and then, once you have all of his body parts, you can go fight Dracula, and then beat the game, which is really cool. I think it's a really cool concept. And I'm gonna rate this game a 8.7.
That's pretty high.
Before I also hand it over, it's a really, the secrets. Once you find one secret, it's the same secret over and over again. So, it's hard to find that first one, but once you find that first one, it's smooth sailing from there, buddy.
Okay.
And overall, you just have a fun time playing that game.
Yeah.
So, over to you now.
Oh yeah, so my 8th favorite game is one that I only played recently, and I had such a good time with it, and honestly, I don't like it as much as the first one, but it's up there, and this is my 8th one. It is Vector Man 2.
Oh, for the Sega Genesis?
Yeah, for the Sega Genesis, I have 2 really old games on this. Well, not really old, but old games on this list, and this is one of them.
I also know you're getting a box copy, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a inbox copy of this one.
Of both of them, aren't you?
Yep, Vector Man 1 and 2.
Yep.
And Vector Man 2 here, oh man, I adore this game. From everything to the fun platforming to the... I will say, though, the bosses are pretty meh sometimes. I feel like the first game had better bosses in general.
Alright, that makes sense. I can agree.
More variety and stuff. But this game, I will say, it's very fun. But that final boss
is really bad.
Yeah, I don't even understand why it's a spider. And also, I could be wrong about this, but I think this game was fairly rushed.
I think it was.
Because in terms of stuff, like, in terms of the first game, this one has no, like pre-story thing, and it just, I don't know, it just feels like it's not as creative and variety and stuff, but in no way does that mean it's a bad game. I still love it, and I'll have to give it an 8.7 out of 10.
I completely know what you mean. It is a really good game. Oh, really good game. I'm blown away by it.
And now it's on to you, Drake.
Yeah, wait, what? Oh, yeah, you're passing on to me. Oh, God. Oh, I feel stupid. This is another game. My seventh favorite game is another game, just like Simon's Quest, that people will be like, how did this even make his list? Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge.
Oh, yeah, Star Tropics 2. I haven't played it, but you told me that the ending is, like, very good. I really want to play it.
Yeah, its ending is really, it's satisfying. It's the type of ending where it's like, this game is pretty good by itself, but then you have the ending and it's like, dude, I want to beat this game 16 more times just to see the ending 16. Just like Ninja Gaiden, it's one of those games where you see the end of the game and you're like, that ending is so satisfying, but this game was so hard that I never want to play it again. You don't have that feeling with Star Tropics 2, because Ninja Gaiden didn't have a save feature. This one does have a save feature.
It does?
It does, yes. I think the runtime is around, like, 4 hours. That's why it has a save feature. I could be wrong on that. You could go check that if you want. Yeah. It's another platformer. I don't know. It's third person, I think. Yeah, it's a third person platformer. I think it's one of the first third person platformers.
On the NES?
Yeah, on the NES. And
That's
I think it's
great.
one of the first ones. And instead of last game where you had, like, you started off with a yo-yo, this game you start off with an axe. Like, you throw an axe at enemies. It's not very powerful because it's a stone-aged axe, but it's still an axe, which is crazy. Like, we evolved from a yo-yo to a freaking axe? Holy crap.
Turned full, like, I don't know what character wields an axe at this point, but you know. Went full American Psycho.
Yeah, and then you evolve your axe, and then it becomes like a freaking, I think, knife or blade or something.
Went from an axe to a knife?
I know.
Bit of a downgrade.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. A knife to a... I can't remember the name, so
okay.
I'm just gonna go straight to the rating of this one. I'm gonna say Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge is... Drumroll, please. It is probably a 7 point... No, a 7? That's really harsh. A 9.
Damn!
It really did it for me. It really satisfied my needs.
That is a... Okay, now I really want to play the game.
Yeah, it's so good.
As soon as that NES gets in the mail, I'm definitely gonna think about getting Star Tropics 2.
Actually, me and him will explain this to you guys. But he actually got an NES in the mail the other day. Well, I mean, it's not arrived yet, but he ordered an NES and it's coming to him, right?
Yep.
And so that's why we're talking about, like, when I get my NES, because Josh has one on the way. I have an NES, and I have almost, besides Star Tropics 2, I have every single cartridge of all of these games that I'm about to list. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so, are you handing it to me now?
Yeah, I'm handing it to you.
Alright, finally got the torch of speaking. Alright, so, my 7th favorite game ever is Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it could flip-flop around between that and Alpha Sapphire, since they're the same game.
Sapphire. I would rather Alpha Sapphire, not because it's a better game, but just because it's Kyogre. There's Kyogre in it.
The only
as
reason
you
I
guys,
picked Omega Ruby is because Groudon.
alright. And that's respectable. Kyogre's my favorite Pokemon, so that's probably why I picked
Pretty
Sapphire.
biased.
But again, just like Sun and Moon, just like Sword and Shield, just like Scarlet and Violet, it's almost the same game, just the legendary's different. That's how I view these games. Am I not wrong, Josh?
You are not wrong, but yeah. Omega Ruby, it's like my first ever 3DS game. I loved it. It's so good, and it's the first introduction to the Ruby and Sapphire games. And Mudkip, my boy, first starter, I accidentally picked him when I was trying to pick Shriko. So
I mean, did you adapt to it?
yeah, I love
good.
Mudkip now. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's it for my 7th pick, and now we're handing it on to you for the 6th.
So, my 6th favorite game, thank you for asking, Josh. My 6th favorite game, this is gonna surprise a lot of you guys, just like Star Tropics 2 and Simon's Quest. But my 6th favorite game is Tetris 2.
Okay, that's fair. I personally like the first one more.
Yeah, and I like it because Tetris 2, I don't know, the soundtrack, my favorite song in the soundtrack is, I think it's song C. It sounds really nice and calming.
I'll have to listen to it
It's also very
sometime.
calming. And dude, I mostly am carried by this game by its soundtrack, that being 2 songs. No, I like song A, song C, and I like the win screen. Like, when you win a game of Tetris 2, it's so satisfying because all the blocks disappear color by color at once. And then that satisfying win music cues in, and it's so nice. It comes together to make a really nice game.
I'll have to listen to it sometime.
And I've even done this in Tetris 2 where I've put a bunch of blocks, like I have OCD, I think. And so I've done something where I put a bunch of blocks on one side, actually on the whole stage, and then I get that last block, and all of them disappear, and it's so satisfying. It's really hard to pull off, but if you can do it, oh, you're going to be happy to do that. It's so nice. I'm going to rate this game a 9.3. It's just so good.
Okay, that's fair.
And also, I'm also really like the box art. The purples and the yellows and the reds are really nice.
Alright, so is it on to me now?
Yep. On to you, Josh.
So, my 6th favorite game ever. Now, this is going to come to a big surprise, but it's one of the FNAF games. Drake, I'm going to let you have a guess.
FNAF 2.
Nope.
Oh,
now, this is going to shock so many people. A lot say this one is bad, but I got, like on the PlayStation, I got every trophy for it. I loved it. It's so fun.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
It is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Security Breach, yep.
This is my personal favorite because, I don't know, after all the bug fixes, I gave it another try after my initial playthrough of so many bugs, and I have to say, I really loved it. And after I played the DLC, oh man, this is like, such a good deal. Like, the DLC by itself. You know what? No. Yeah, this 6th entry is just the Ruin DLC. The Ruin DLC, it's so good. It's so fun. It's like, I can't even put into words. It's just, it's so good, especially for a free DLC.
Oh my god, yeah, I gotta agree with you, Josh. It's so good.
Like, a free DLC. It's just so fun, so good. It's so much scarier than the original as well.
And to be honest, they didn't have to make the DLC free. They could have charged us $60 for it. And guess what?
They didn't.
They had the courtesy of making it free.
Yeah.
Which made a lot of people who didn't have money anymore to afford a new game still be able to get a new game, which is very surprising. Even the NES doesn't do that because, like, well, Nintendo needs to make money, but
Yeah.
that's super nice of them.
Yeah, so if I would have to rate this game, I'll give it a 8.8.
Ooh, alright, I can get through that. And another thing before you pass it on to me, the multiple endings is also a really cool factor.
Yeah, the multiple, I really like that fact.
I mean, yeah, Castlevania 2, like Simon's Quest can do that, but it's almost the same ending.
But if I had to say one thing, I think it would have been better if they were all animated instead of that, like, comic book art style.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sucky for comic books, like,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so I love that kind of stuff.
But, like, if we had it animated like that epic final burn trap ending,
yeah, that would be crazy.
Just the burn trap ending alone, the lighting on that, the cinematography, whatever it's called, cinematography, all just looks so good, and that's why it's one of my favorite games of all time. So
I can't blame you for saying that. That is a really valid argument.
yeah.
It's really.
But before we get into your fifth entry, these next 3 games are all from the same franchise, so
Oh, okay.
bit of bias going on. But it's my
All
list,
right.
so of course there is.
Alright, so are you passing it on?
Yup.
Okay, so my 5th favorite entry is The Legend of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Honestly, I think the first one's better.
Giant classic for so many people in the 80s. One of the hardest games, not just on the NES, of all time. That is a really hard title to own, and that's saying a lot, because I'm a guy who plays Ninja Gaiden and Mega Man and Mike Tyson, and I've beaten all of those games. So, I don't know what to tell you when I say that I haven't beaten Zelda 2. And you might be like, oh, thanks, I'm ready. That is really hard to say. Not a lot of people can say that they've beaten I've beaten this game, and I've beaten this game, but I've beaten one of the hardest games of all time. Oh, I've beaten this other really hard game, but I haven't beaten this one. That's really out of the blue. So, I think a lot of people think the enemy placement is the cheap part of it. Just because something is hard, and just because you want to rip the hairs off of every single piece that has hair, like a piece of your body that does have hair, doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that you need to grow up and you need to actually become good.
You gotta man up.
And master it.
Grow some balls.
You gotta Mega Man it up. you gotta find all those one-ups. You gotta find all this stuff, and then you figure out, everywhere else besides the final palace, I respawn back at the beginning of the game, but the final palace I respawn at the final palace if I die. So it's like, well, so much for that.
So what do you rate
that's
it?
the end of my review. I'm gonna give it a. Ooh, this is really thin on what I say here. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Okay.
I'm getting into that zone where I say it's a 9.5.
That's fair. Alright, so is it on to me now?
Yep, it's on to you now, buddy.
Alright, my 5th favorite game, now this is gonna come off as a big surprise, but this is a PSP game.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Alright, Drake, this is gonna shock you, but my 5th...
no, it's not.
It's my 5th favorite game is Mega Man Powered Up.
Yo, I'm not surprised.
Yup, Powered Up, the remake of Mega Man 1. I personally like it more than 1.
Yeah, it has all the new robot masters, and it has all these new playable characters. I am not surprised that you said that.
But sadly, I am one of the ones who did not get the chance to play the Roll DLC, so...
Oh.
Wah, wah.
God.
But
that is...
I am still making my way through the challenges to unlock Proto Man.
Making my way downtown.
Making my way downtown, walking fast. But, yeah, just...
June, he's by Dr. Wily.
Yeah. And all of the new, like, Robot Masters, Oil Man and Time Man, such good additions.
I mean, we can forget about Oil Man.
Nah, Oil Man's cool.
Well, I mean, dude, he's racist. And also he's oily, but who cares?
But I will say, Oil Man's ability, the board, oh!
Yeah, that's so cool.
The surfboard, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. Dude, I wish they made that in Mega Man 1.
Yeah, if there was a...
But do you know why they didn't?
Why?
Because
hardware limitations.
One came out in 1987, right?
Yeah.
And I know there might be, you might be like after I say this, might be like, Drake, but the NES games were so big. Mega Man 1 was a very small game.
Very small.
Like, extremely small.
Compared to anything that came after, it's like so small.
I said 3 Wily stages. It had 6 stages, and then it had 4 Wily stages, so it had 10 stages in total. Usually other Mega Man 6 or Mega Man 5 or 4, I think it was 4, had the most amount of stages we've seen so far. You had the original 8 Robot Masters, plus you had the 4 Cossack stages and the 4 Wily stages.
And
so
now
that's like 8 plus 8, that's 16 stages. Holy crap.
And now this time in Powered Up, you have the normal Mega Man campaign, then you have the Cut Man campaign, the Guts Man campaign, the Time Man campaign, the Oil Man, all the other Robot Masters. And
oh yeah, I didn't think I ever told you this, bro, but did you know that those campaigns only open up if you kill those Robot Masters only with the Mega Booster?
Yeah, I know, I did that first try.
Oh.
Every single one.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I've beaten Mega Mans, and I've beaten like half of the Robot Masters and Cut Mans, and mostly when I boot up Powered Up, I'm grinding away at the challenges.
And that's pretty crazy, because you've already gotten how far in the game, or how long ago did you get this game? Like only a few months ago.
Like a month ago?
1 or 2 months ago, yeah, and that's pretty good progress for, especially since you also have school and stuff. And sometimes you're talking to me or going to a friend's house, so that's really cool, because it's not a hard game, but just because something, and same with that Adventure of Link, just because something is not good, doesn't mean, or just because something is easy, or just because something is hard, doesn't make it not good. Take this as Mega Man 2, for example. Mega Man 2 is, like, pretty mid. It's pretty hard and it's pretty easy. But guess what? That never hurt its success.
Nope.
It's one of the best-selling Mega Man games of all time.
And also, that final Wily fight is tough.
What, the alien?
Nah, the one in Powered Up, it's tough, bro.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, honestly, it's so hard. Like, I will say it's an improvement from the Mega Man 1 Wily final fight, but, like, it's really hard.
Another funny thing is the Yellow Devil. Apparently, he knows how to speak in Boomo. Boomo, Boomo, Boomo.
Boomo, Boomo, Boomo.
That's the yellow. Boomo, Boomo, Boomo. Boomo.
Yeah, and I love how they added the dialogue in this game where he, like, talks about, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like a robot made for fighting?
And here's another thing, is that's another really good addition, because in Mega Man 1, you kind of just get presented by a black screen, and then you get teleported to a stage select, and there's no story, unlike Mega Man 2, 4, 5, and 6. So it's nice to see Mega Man 1 of all games have a title that, like, show you what you're about to get into, and explain the story. I wish they did it for the NES, because, you know, some people had to wait 26 years to figure out the story, because they didn't have the manual, but, yeah. I don't like when NES games don't have the manual.
Yeah,
then you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so that's it for Mega Man Powered Up, and if I had to rate it, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Oh, alright, that's really good. So what is this? Our fourth?
Yep, this is your first
game?
one. Fourth, not
Alright.
first.
Fourth.
Yup.
So, this game is actually not very rare. It's one of the rarer games I have. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Oh, I really want to play that.
Now, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is not very expensive, but the reason this game is expensive is because it's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Not normal
Not just
Punch-Out.
regular Punch-Out. Less copies were made of Punch-Out than they were than Punch-Out. So this game is anonymous for, well, Mike Tyson himself. One of the hardest gaming challenges of all time.
Have you beaten him before?
Yes, once.
Nice.
And, really good. Good. So, Punch-Out, again, like I just said, is really good. Controls are very tight. And, like, when you ask the game, I want to move right now, it moves right then. Like, it moves almost immediately. And that's something a lot of NES games don't have. This game also doesn't have any lag. Like, when there's a lot of stuff and, like, shit going on, it's like, doesn't lag. And again, and sometimes when you look into the crowd to dodge Bald Bull's charge, or to miss, Macho Man's, star punch, I think it's called, there are signals, like, for Bald Bull's, charge. Whenever Bald Bull charges at you, you have to punch him right in the chest, right as the guy is clicking the camera. That's the signal to tell you to punch him. And same thing for Macho Man. A guy drops his shades as Macho Man is about to star punch you. It's crazy. It's so... And guess what? I have something funny I want to tell you, Josh.
Yeah?
They never figured that out, that happened on that exact same time, for 26 years.
No.
It's 26 years. They never knew that. I would have thought someone would have found that out on, like, the 6th year. But no, I also would have thought Nintendo Power would have mentioned anything of that, but nope. Never did. But, yes. Tyson's Punch-Out is crazy. It's very fun. I think you'll find a lot of good things. Yes, I do think that some of the guys leading up to Mike Tyson are harder than himself. Like Sandman and Macho Man. Those guys are really hard. They literally knocked the, poo-poo out of me, so, I did not feel my legs I did not feel my hands for an entire week after I beat Mike Tyson. So, yeah, got that. If I had to rank it, 9.7.
Okay.
I know that I'm going to rate this 2 points higher than the last one. I'm kind of doing that because, well, I mean, the rating has to be better from one game than another if it's my more favorited, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna say that Mike Tyson. Actually, I'm gonna go back to a 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah, just a 9.5. It's pretty good though.
Alright, is it on to me now?
Yeah, it's on to you.
Alright. Now, my fourth entry is, drumroll please, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X.
Yep.
My personal...
If that was on a PSP, I would have guessed that.
My personal favorite Mega Man X game. It's honestly really good. And I know in my review for it, which if you haven't seen, you should go check out.
Yeah, you should absolutely go check out. It's really good.
It's the first time I used CapCut to, like, actually, like, you know, edit something. Yeah. So, yeah, this game, it's just really good. I like it more than the original. And,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna go too in-depth into it, because you can just go watch my review where I go over everything. But I will say, this is the game where Vile became my favorite Mega Man character.
Oh my god. And that's also because, you can play as him, I bet.
Yeah, like, his his gameplay, I'm not gonna get into it much here. It's like my favorite. Like it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I have to say about Maverick Hunter. And I know in my review I said it was a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna bring it down to a 9.7.
That makes sense.
Yup.
I cannot see it being 10 out of 10, but I can see it being like a 9.5 or 7. That
Yeah.
would make.
Alright, back on to you, Drake.
My third favorite game. Here's where my games get like really, really close. My third favorite game of all time uses a save function.
Ooh, Kirby?
Kirby's Adventure.
Yeah, I knew it.
Kirby's Adventure.
As soon as you said save function, I figured it out.
Well, I mean, Star Tropics 2 and... Yeah, Star Tropics 2 and Legend of Zelda 2 also use a function.
But you already said that.
Yeah. Kirby's Adventure is just like... I don't want to say another one of those Mega Man titles, but it's pretty much one of those Mega Man titles, except you are replaced with a pink puffball.
Yeah.
But the enemy placement is really good.
No, don't get mad at me for this, but but when I played it on my Switch, I just flew over everything.
Alright, well, I mean, that's one of Kirby's abilities. You can't kill him for that, so don't come to his house and kill him, chat.
Please.
But Kirby's Adventure, this runtime of this game is probably like 6 hours, I think. I think speedruns have it for like 30 minutes, I think, or something like that, or something crazy stupid like that. And so, yeah. Kirby's Adventure, I just feel like Kirby's Adventure is just a Mega Man game that you can swallow things up with. And also, speaking of that, if you press down on the controller, after you go an enemy, most of the time you can press down on the D-pad and you'll get a ability. There are 42 different enemies that carry abilities. Some of them carry the same ability, but 42 different abilities that Kirby can eventually find. It almost gives you like a trophy. Like some of the first trophies ever in gaming. It says like, oh hey, guess what? You found this item for the first time, so we're gonna mark that off. And actually, you need to find all the abilities to even get a 100% in Kirby's Adventure. If you have not collected all the abilities, you do not get a 100%. It just says, oh hey, you haven't collected that item yet, so you better scooch. Go find that. So that's really funny. And as a lot of you guys might know, Kirby's Adventure is God. It's so good. 9.7.
That's fair. Very fair.
Super good.
So yeah, is it on to me again?
On to you.
Alright, now, my third favorite game ever. Now, this one is very much gonna shock you, Drake. You were most definitely not expecting this.
Probably not, because you said the same thing for Mega Man Powered Up. And I was not surprised for it, so...
Alright, like, this, you are gonna be shooketh. All of you are. You are all gonna be shocked. So, this one, it's Mega Man 11.
Oh, God! I'm not surprised, it's a modern game. For all you who don't know, which I know all of you don't know, I don't love modern games. My only console I own is an NES, and that's it. I know, pretty depressing life, right, chat? But, I'll let you keep going with that, Josh.
Yeah, so, this is gonna need a lot to explain, but I just feel, out of every Mega Man game I've played, which is basically all of the classic series, and all of the X series, is definitely 11. I just love it because it's so fun. It's like it's just a good evolution of Mega Man, I feel.
I'm just sitting over here
The
I'm just
boss
like,
fights are good.
oh.
The boss's designs are good. The Wily fights are good. Like, I just love everything about this. The double gear system is super fun to use. Like, in a lot of the sections, they were hard, but they were doable. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
people return this game because it wasn't fair, but it is. It's fair. They just need to get some balls. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, any
Yeah.
balls. Sports balls, basketballs, your balls. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I just love this game for all it's worth. I might one day put a review out for it. I don't know why I would, because it's old, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love it. And by the way, I beat it on superhero mode 2 times, so you guys are all just pussies if you can't beat it.
Yeah, I've also done that. I've only done that once. I know at the I just went down to Newfoundland that summer, and me and Josh met up for the first time. I'm not saying if I live in Newfoundland and he doesn't, or if he lives in Newfoundland and I don't, because that's giving away our personal information. But yeah, I met up with him, and it's hard to say because this game was really good. I'm agreeing with you. Really solid title.
But I don't think you'll do it as egregious as I did.
Yeah, and when I went down there that summer, or when he came down, or I went there this last summer, he introduced me to Mega Man 11 for the first big impact that it left on me for Mega Man 11. I beat it once on superhero mode, and I know Josh was always like, "I'm never gonna do good. I'm never." And then I go back, or I go back, or he goes back, and he becomes a god at every Mega Man game. He literally wipes them out in the same time I do. So, good job, Josh.
Thanks.
Hooray!
But
you know
yeah,
how to play an easy series.
Yeah. So Mega Man 11. If I were to rank it, honestly, also an 8.7. It doesn't beat Maverick Hunter by that much. If I were to compare the two, Maverick Hunter is so close, but I just like Mega Man 11 that little bit more.
Alright, that's really fair.
Yeah, so it's back to you now, Drake, for number 2.
This is also gonna surprise a lot of you guys. One of the hardest games of all time on the NES. For my second favorite game, $180 for a brand new cartridge. Not complete box, but like a near mint copy of Ninja Gaiden 3.
Ooh.
Ninja Gaiden 3, for me, I've beaten it with save states, without save states, and with the game dude. This game is hell. This game is so hard. There's this one jump in 7-2, I think it is, where you gotta jump right in between these little laser beams. And if you screw it up once, guess what? You die inside of the pit, and you have to restart the whole level. That is very painful. Sorry, you don't have to restart the whole level, but you have to restart to a very painful point in the level, so, ow, that's really annoying. But if you were able to keep a power-up from 7-1, you can actually, there's something called a Art of a Fire Wheel, and you can summon it around you. It makes you invincible to literally everything.
Drake, I gotta go use the bathroom, so you keep talking while I'm gone, okay?
Alright, bye, brother. Bye, brother.
See ya.
Alright. So, yeah, like I was saying, Josh needs to go pee-pee, so it's my turn to, talk. Ninja Gaiden 3 is really good. Usually, so yeah, like I was saying, the, Art of the Fire Wheel, if you keep it from 7-1, you can actually be invincible to those lasers, and you can just jump right through them, and you're invincible to them, which is a godsend. That's the only way I was able to ever beat it without save states and without the Game Genie. So that's really cool. The enemy placement, I'm not going to say this is a bad thing. Enemy placement in this game is cheap. It's cheap, but that makes it good, which sounds really confusing. Oh, sorry. But you just got to remember, this game is the last Ninja Gaiden game to ever come out for the NES. Came out in 1991. I think it was sometime in June, July, or May of 1991. And it actually got an award for the best challenge of that year. And so I definitely agree. It was hell on Earth. But it was really good, and it had a lot of really cool gimmicks that even was brought over to the 3D series, which is really hard to do for an NES game. To keep that kind of trait going for that long is literally insane. I can't believe how good of a game this is. This is gonna sound so insufferable for so many of you. This game is a 9.9.
I agree.
It's on that brink of, if it was just that, if one enemy was placed in the perfect place, 10 out of 10, but it's not. It just, the cheap enemy placement is what gets me. And also, Ryu takes double the amount of damage. But to compensate for that, it's Nimpo points is your currency to use your weapons. Nimpo points is easier to find, and also you can get something called the Master Sword, which makes your sword like, I don't know, like 6 feet longer. And it's like really good. It's like Sephiroth's sword in like Smash Bros. So that's really cool. I'm gonna pass it on to Josh now.
Alright. So for my second favorite game of all time, it's another modern one, so you might not like it.
Yeah.
Released the same year as Mega Man 11.
Is this gonna surprise me?
Yeah, it's Doom Eternal.
No.
Yeah, so I can tell Drake isn't happy about that. But this game is, oh man,
Doom Eternal. It was pretty good, I guess.
It was amazing. From the level design to the story to the gameplay, fast-paced gameplay, all the weapons, final bosses, the DLCs. Oh my god, makes me cream.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's just so good. I love it. Everything about it. It is so good.
I've also never told you this, Josh. My brother let me play on this Xbox one day. I've played it before.
Okay.
My opinion on it, I'll say it really quickly. Good. Actually, I'll even go to say awesome. But it's not amazing. It's awesome, not amazing, not bad. Not even okay. It's amazing, or it's awesome. It gets my awesome Drake seal over.
Okay. But if I would have to rate this, 9.9 out of 10.
Oh, just like Ninja Gaiden 3, eh, buddy?
Yup.
Just barely on the brink.
Yeah, the one thing that I feel that is with me is the difficulty. It's so easy after your first playthrough, so easy to just zoom past the game. Like, if you're playing on normal difficulty, so easy to zoom past everything. But, you know, the harder difficulties, they can go suck themselves, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, my turn?
Yeah. Now we're on to honorable mentions, which we have one for each. Is that okay with you, Drake?
I was gonna do 3.
But I think we only got time for one.
Trust me, I'm only saying these games, and then we're moving on to 1.
Okay. That's fine, then.
Well, I mean, I'll do one little review of one of the games. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So you do your 3 honorable mentions, then I'll do my 1.
Okay. So my third honorable mention for the NES is Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2. Just like Mega Man, but instead of long-range gun. For an arm, you have a sword that's not very long. That's my third honorable mention. My second honorable mention. This is a game that my mother's sister grew up with in 1989.
Okay.
Her name is still even plastered on the front of it. Adventure Island 2. Hudson's Adventure Island 2.
Never heard of it.
Just like Mega Man 2, except you have a weapon that has an arc. It's one of those axes like Mike Jones has in Star Tropics 2. It's one of those like stone axes things. It has like this arc. So it like starts up. It's like rolling cutters. It's like Cutman's weapon. It goes up and then it goes down. It doesn't come back to you, but it just slightly elevates and then it goes to the ground.
Okay.
Pretty powerful. And so yeah, that's really cool. It's just like a Mega Man game, but kind of dumbed down a little bit. Speaking of Mega Man 1, speaking of Mega Man in general, this is a Game Boy game. For my favorite honorable mention, this would have made my favorite game of all time, but I just don't own it yet.
Mega Man World 5.
And it is Mega Man World 5.
Called it.
It is the It is the third rarest Game Boy game of all time.
And one of the best.
$300 for a mint copy. $300.
That's if you can even find it.
Copy. What?
That's if you can even find it, because
That's even if you can find it.
eBay is all bootlegged.
Almost all of them are bootleg, yeah. Actually, I haven't told you this yet. They had, at Next Wave Video Games in Edmonton, I just went down to go visit there this summer, and so, they had a copy of Mega Man World 5. I wasn't able to buy it, but they had 2 copies of it. They had 1 cartridge, they had 1 complete box. Cartridge was $300. Guess how much, CNB was? CNB is like short for complete box.
$600.
$3,000.
Holy shit!
And that's saying you have the manual, you have the game in perfect condition, and you have the box in perfect condition.
That.
And so that is really hard to do.
Holy shit.
Someone spent, like, before I, left, Newfoundland, before I left Edmonton to go back to Newfoundland, again, I went, back from Newfoundland to go to Edmonton, I actually, was gonna go buy it. And then I got there, someone else paid $3 for a complete box copy of it. What the hell?
Fuck?
Someone bought it. Someone spent $3 for a complete box copy.
I'm stunned.
And they said they only had it for 6 months. That sounds like a long time. You gotta remember, $3,000 for a video game?
Too much.
That's as much as Little Samson for the NES. That's crazy.
Holy shit.
And so, I have played it though. It's really good. If you have the money on you, buy a complete box copy. You will not ever regret that. You will also never regret buying a cartridge version because of how good the game is. You should, and this game is also shouting out all the other games. They're almost just as good, but this one hits that mark for me. Mega Man World 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is almost just as rare. It's the 5th rarest Game Boy game, so good luck with that. $230. The third one is around $70. Then the first and second one are around like $20 to $10. So.
Alright, so is it on my honorable mentions now?
Yep, it's on your honorable mentions.
Alright, now I have 2 instead of 1.
Alright.
I have Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4.
I've never really heard about it.
Yeah, it's a really good Spider-Man game. Best web swinging in a video game. Really good.
You think?
Yeah, best web swinging in like any game.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's only being out by Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5.
Is that your other honorable mention?
Yup. So yeah, that's it for honorable mentions, and now we're on to our number ones. So starting off with you.
This is going to piss so many people off.
I know what it is.
Do not say it, Josh.
I won't.
It's a Mega Man game. I'll start off with that.
Your favorite series.
Yeah. I'll say a few things before I say it. It's not Mega Man 2, which is pissing a lot of people off. It's not Mega Man 3, which is also going to piss a lot of people off. It's almost 1, but it's not 1. So it's either 4, 5, or 6. I'll say this. It's not 6. So it's 5 or 4. And guess what? It
ain't 4.
Mega Man 5 is my favorite game of all time. Oh, I can't explain how good this game is. This game cost me $300, just like World 5 will. But Mega Man 5 is my favorite classic Mega Man game, and my favorite game with that along that trail as well. Wow, and a little bit more wow.
That's a lot of wow.
I can't get enough of this game. Whenever I play this, I always wish they made more games like this. A lot of people are gonna be like, but Drake, there's no the weapons are really bad. Here's the thing. I've said this to Mr. over the phone, because we're on a phone chat. But Mega Man 5, just because it has shitty weapons, guess what? That's not a bad thing. You wanna know why?
You're supposed to experiment with them.
You can experiment with them. And this is the same thing for Mega Man 3. On my TikTok before it got taken down, I did a 10-minute video on every single place you could use topspin and where it's good. And everybody say it's the most janky weapon in all of Mega Man besides Charge Kick. But everybody just doesn't experiment. They either always go to the Buster, or they always go to the overpowered weapons, like Metal Blade. Dude, stop using Metal Blade. Use Bubble Lead or something. Well, not Bubble Lead. That's a bad example. Like quick boomerang, or I was about to say, heat. The heat weapon. That's fine. But yeah, Mega Man 5, its enemy placement, besides one of those droppers in Stone Man states, like one of those guys, they shoot a bomb or a ball out of their head and it explodes on contact with the ground. One right before the ladder, that was pretty cheap. I hate that guy. But also Secret Rooms and Beat. Secret Rooms beat the extension of the Mega Buster and sliding. I'm gonna list all these different things off. Secret Rooms. I probably came across 2. You actually could, in Stone Man stage, you could, there were a few blocks that looked Metroid-ish, and I was like, okay, shooting that, and then I shoot it, and oh, look, they exploded. So I slide under the blocks, and bang, I get the beat letter. Like, come on, do that more times. They also did that again in Stone Man stage in the same room Eddie shows up. You gotta go on the very right side and shoot the blocks there, and you get some health and energy pickups, like weapon energy pickups. That was super cool. Sliding. It's a lot more refined than 3 and 4's. It's easier to use. It's also not as glitchy. That's it. All I have for slide. And then Charge Buster. The Charge Buster is what a lot of people say is the best weapon in the game. Again, I don't use the Charge Buster a lot. I only use it when I need to use it. Besides that, most of the time I'm going to Gyro Attack or Crystal Eye. So those are really cool, and 10 out of 10 game.
Okay.
Can't explain. 10 out of 10. And so thank you for letting me do this, Josh. I'm gonna hand it over to you now. So.
All right. So for our final entry in this thing and my final entry in the list, I want you to guess really quick, Drake. Out of everything you learned from me today, guess.
Give me 3 hints.
Green?
3.
Yeah, I know. Hint number 1, green.
It's green. Oh,
Hint
wow.
number 2.
It's your favorite game?
Hint number 2, Genesis.
Oh my god. Can we say it at the same time?
Yep. 3,
Okay,
2,
3, 2,
1.
1.
Vector Man.
1.
Yup, Vector Man 1 is my favorite game of all time.
That's your favorite game of all time?
After I played it for the first time, I just loved it. I can't wait for that inbox copy to get here.
Oh my god! I would have thought that was like with Vector Man 2.
No.
I would have never thought it's your favorite game of all time.
Nah, favorite game of all time. Like,
oh my god.
it's so good.
I'm going to pass out.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
After playing the game, I like it more than Sonic. Why did that blue little bastard get to continue and not this guy?
Oh my god.
Like, genuinely, this game, so good. So much variation in the level design, in the platforming. So much boss design, like, variation. That one, like...
you're gonna explode my brain!
Like, the 4 guys that turn into one guy, such a fun boss. The final boss. The final boss is so memorable. It's so fun. The final boss most definitely better than 2.
Oh, yeah.
And, just everything. The tank stage.
I'm also gonna agree with you. It all comes together to be a crazy, like, really fun.
The tank stage, though, the one where you're like a tank, that one kinda sucks. The only stages in this game that I'm not fond of is mainly the ones where you turn into different things. Like that one.
Yeah.
Like that one where you have to dodge the big fists. The one where you're like a tornado. They're not bad, but they're not fun.
Just not they're not the best in the bunch.
Yeah, but a lot of people say it's like very slippery controls. I disagree. Super responsive.
Just like Mega Man 1. Yes, the controls are slippery, but guess what? It's because you screwed up.
Yeah, man. Get good.
You shouldn't have slid that far. Predict what you're gonna do.
So yeah, if I would have to rate this, 10 out of 10 game.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Lost Secrets revealed today, folks.
And I want to, tell me when you're done and I'll explain something I want to do with you.
Yeah, alright, so it's on to you now.
Alright, so, I want to do something funny. Right before we did this podcast-like YouTube thing, we haven't really, thought about, I never really mentioned this really fun idea. We should put Vector Man 1 and Mega Man 5 together and see what should come out on top.
Yeah.
Alright, you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so I want you to explain what makes your game so good, and then I'll say what makes my game so good, and then we'll let the comments section explain what is good, or like what they think is better.
Yeah. So Vector Man 1, it's like such variation in every stage. Yeah. Every stage is different. Unlike the second one where it's all like kind of meshes into the same, the first one, it's all just different. All the different like unique like power-ups, all the different weapon variations, all the enemies you can fight. Like, all of it is so good. I also love all the bosses. unlike the second game, all the bosses in this game are so good.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's like really good. I love it. Like especially that, like I said this before, but the one with 4 guys like stack up each other to make different like items.
Yeah, or different like layers.
Yeah, like those guys, such a fun boss. And the final boss, like I said, such cool. And the villain, like the big villain in this game, he is so cool. Like I think his name's like Warhead or something.
Yeah.
He's so cool. He's just like this like nuke guy, and oh man, this game, it's so cool, iconic, and definitely the best game on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. It's just it shares some. It's almost like a relative of Mega Man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it a bootleg because that would be pretty mean. I'm just gonna say it's another one of those types of Mega Man games.
I can see that, I guess.
What?
I can see that, I guess.
Yeah, I can also say that. Pretty good.
So what makes yours better?
I got a pretty big list. Mega Man 5. Again, weapons suck. You can experiment with them. Don't be a baby. Just open up the menu and try something else. A lot of people don't see how the diamond. A lot of people don't. This is a saying. A lot of people don't see the diamond in the. A lot of people say diamond in the dirt, or yeah. A lot of people say diamond in the dirt. But I say diamond in the dust. This is what Mega Man is. Mega Man 5 is a diamond in the dirt, or a diamond in the dust, however you want to say it. Because the enemies, the weapons suck, like I just said. Enemies can be pretty tedious. They can be really annoying. I'm gonna be the first one to admit that. They can be a really big pain in the ass. Charge Man is a really good example of this. His boss is just so unpredictable. Like, I know there's this guy called Nico Evaluates. Go check him out. He's also on YouTube. Swear warning though, but everybody listens to swears, so it's like, who cares? He actually rates Mega Man games and stuff, and he puts Mega Man 5 very low because of these reasons. He thinks the weapons suck, and so he just switches to the Buster before he even thinks about trying to do something else. And that's what the biggest mindset of people say. And he also does Buster only challenges and no damage challenges. He did a Buster only no damage challenge of Charge Man. It took him 5 years to do. That's how unpredictable his fight is. It's like not good. It's really not good.
Yeah.
So that's the only boss I can really call him off for. But I will warn you guys about some weapons that you should not use. Never use the Charge Kick. Never use the Power Stone, because those weapons literally suck ass. I would try to make an argument just like I did for Topspin, but they just suck. I'm sorry, they just really suck. There's no argument to save them from it. They suck. And I'm not even going to try to defend them. The amount of times I've tried to the amount of times I've tried to slide into Wave Man, or the amount of times I've tried to throw a bunch of charcoal at frickin' Thomas the Tank Engine Man, it's frickin' nuts. I've tried to do it. I've also tried to pause cancel Charge Man, because you don't know, like, when you pause the game, all the projectiles on the screen disappear. So you can just infinitely keep spamming that weapon. Just like Gravity Hold and just like Napalm Man with Crystal Eye, invincibility frames also really stop you from doing a lot of damage to bosses. And same thing with Charge Kick. Like, you can only Charge Kick him once every 2 seconds, so that's not very fast. You might die faster than they might die. Which
Yeah.
doesn't sound right, but it's right. It doesn't even make sense.
Alright, is that it for your argument with the 5?
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you for my monologue.
You're
So,
welcome.
you say one thing that is, like, really stands out, and then I'll say one thing, and then we'll decide, like, which factor is better. And we'll do that a few times until we eventually end up with who we think, and then we'll ask the comment section.
Bosses.
What? Bosses?
Yo.
Okay, I don't have a good argument for that, because my bosses are really, really bad. But I'm gonna say Charge Buster them. I'm gonna use the Charge Buster for this argument.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll give you the point for that for bosses. We're both mixing our bosses together. So, bosses. I'll give you that point, because my bosses kind of suck.
Yeah.
To be completely honest. I mean, besides that Gravity Man on the front, look at him slaying. But obviously, Mega Man's so powerful, he's just given a hand to Gravity Man, so... yeah. Can I go next? Like, you said, bosses. I'm gonna say weapons.
Yeah, there are not many weapons in, Vector Man.
Yeah, so, are they good weapons, though? There's not a lot, but there are some.
I would say, of course, the basic shot is really good. You can shoot in any direction.
Yep.
And when you jump,
And that's the thing, that already pairs up as much as Metal Blade does.
And when you jump up, you can shoot down and it will keep you in the air long.
Ooh.
It's like so cool, and you can shoot any which way down. Like diagonally. You can shoot every direction with it, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you have like that thing that's kinda like Gemini Man's laser.
Gemini Man, yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda like that, where like it's like a laser thing and it bounces off walls. It's super fun weapon. But you don't really get it that much. You don't get any weapons that much.
So, I don't want to be the one to self-credit myself, but obviously I'm amazing, and all you guys are too. Thank you for supporting, Josh's channel, by the way. Definitely like and subscribe. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you can if you want to, but we're not gonna be the type of people like and subscribe for...
Yeah, that's very annoying.
Yeah. Very annoying. Whenever that pops up, I'm like, oh my god, dude, just shut up.
Like, shut up!
Yeah, exactly. So we're not gonna ask you to like and subscribe. Just do it if you want to. Don't do it. You can always do it later. Like, so, anyways. I wouldn't want to be that person to self-credit myself. I would give myself the point for that, because then I'm just gonna call it the V-shot, the V-Buster, because, well, Vector Buster is like the Mega Buster. Anyways, the Vector Buster. I don't know the exact name for it, but do you?
No.
Alright. So the Vector Buster, let's just call it that, shoot in 8 directions. Breaks the whole game.
Yup.
It breaks the whole game. And that's the thing. Mega Man 5's weapons suck.
Yeah.
They're all balanced on being shit. All of them suck equally to the fact where it's not like, oh, this one's so much better than this one, or, oh, this one's so much better. They're all equally balanced. There's nothing where it's like, one weapon is absolutely broken and you will use it all the game. I'm looking at you freaking Metal Blades.
But wait.
And then I look back and I see that other weapon and I'm like, Bubble Lead, try harder.
Hang on, I did forget one.
What?
I forgot about the tornado ability.
I still don't think that pairs up.
It's basically a weapon. As long as you keep moving, you're immune to attacks, and you destroy everything in your path.
Overpowered!
Yup.
Because you can't you also use a Vector Buster while that's enabled?
No.
Oh. Okay, that dumbs it down a little bit, but
as long as you keep moving in one direction, it doesn't go away.
Dude, you could have the whole game with that.
Yeah.
Or almost the whole game with that. That's overpowered. Are you also going to agree with me that I should get the point, or...
I
Give it to
honestly
me.
feel like the Vector Man weapons are, like, really good. Compared to Mega Man 5's weapons, they're, like, infinitely better. Like, even you say that Mega Man 5 weapons are bad. I will agree that you do just have to experiment with them, but, like, Vector Man's weapons are still just, like, definitively better.
Here's the thing, we're not looking at better, we're looking at design.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would say the Vector Man, like, even the basic Vector Buster, it's good in design. It's like every direction shot, you float in the air while you shoot down. I just feel like it's a very fun and good weapon to use. And I will say...
But I could also say the same thing for the Mega Buster.
You just want to make this one a tie?
What?
You want to make that one a tie where we both get 1 point?
Sure.
Okay.
Because the Mega Buster literally kills almost every enemy in, no exaggeration, most enemies in one shot.
Yeah.
So, even those Stormtrooper guys are not even a problem, or those chicken guys are not even a problem with the Buster.
Yeah.
And even with those big hulking mech dudes, they're called power muscles.
Giga Shad.
It does, like, yeah, the Giga Chad, which, if you don't know what we're talking about, go to watch, Power Guy.
Best Mega Man YouTuber.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna say that the weapons are pretty tied.
Yeah.
The Mega Buster is crazy.
Alright, now we're gonna do one last bracket.
Okay.
Now this one will decide it all.
I was thinking of action.
Action?
Are you also gonna agree with me? We should do
Action. Now,
okay.
I'm gonna say my piece first. I feel like Vector Man takes this. Vector Man's action, like the action, like, you mean like the intensity and stuff, like...
And the leg, if it's more leggy, then it's gonna get shittier points.
Yeah, if it's more laggy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because when I played Vector Man, I've experienced no lag at all.
Yeah.
Like, 0 lag, so it's lag-free, basically. And also, the action, the final boss fight, you're legit fighting a tornado nuclear warhead type guy, jumping on platforms over an abyss of nothing.
Well, I mean, I can say the same thing for Mega Man 5 as well, bro.
Not really. You can't really say you're fighting a robotic man on a tornado who's a tornado.
I can say I'm fighting a robotic man in a giant skull mech.
Fair enough.
And then he goes into this, like, mini pod, and then he shows up and disappears, and you have, like, a few seconds to react, like, oh shit, Dr. Wily, get over here, buddy!
And then also the,
come over here, and you have to, like, kill Dr. Wily with a bomb.
And also the prologue to this game, where it has the opening cutscene, where it shows where Metalhead was made, and he's, like, rampaging the city, and then Vector Man lands in his helicopter to save the day.
Yeah.
Even though it's just, like, a little, like, picture book type thing, it looks so cool!
Yeah.
Like, all the pixels displayed, it looks like a full-on, like, actual, like, picture that I could see on a book.
But here's another thing I'm gonna mention. Mega Man 5's title. So not only does Mega Man 5's title have some kick-ass music, not only that, Mega Man 5's title is really cool because it shows, like, Proto Man steals Dr. Light in it, and it looks like you're inside of the game playing the game. And it shows, like, a brand new perspective of Mega Man actually there. And it's so cool. Like, dude, if you were to boot up the Mega Man 5 OST right now and play the title theme and the opening theme song, you are going to literally rock. Hey, rock and roll. Okay,
only Mega Man fans will get that.
Yeah, only some. If you don't know, Mega Man was named Rock in Japan, but then they changed it to Mega Man because apparently rock meant crack cocaine back in I think it was 93, so they were like, don't want to associate that. And so they were like, let's just change it. or not 1993, like 1987, like as the year came out.
So yeah, that's all I really. Well, I mean, there is also that tank section where you're like No, wait, yeah, the fist section where these big fists are crushing down while the abyss is following you, and you have to destroy these big rocky fists before you get sucked into the abyss.
Yeah.
And also the tornado section where you have to fight the metalhead head as you're spinning around. It's like a disco party.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that all you say? I have to pull one more Uno reverse card on you.
Yeah.
The Genesis had so much more potential than the NES.
Yeah.
The NES had limits. The Genesis didn't have a lot of limits.
It was way too advanced for its time.
Yes.
And it made it so good.
And it's more of an advanced console. That's what makes this unfair.
Yeah.
It's more of an advanced console. And Mega Man 5, if it doesn't win, is very, very close.
Very good for its console.
Since all of this Mega Man 5 stuff is in 8-bit graphics.
Yeah.
Dude, the Genesis games can get up to 32 graphics. If you have the 32 graphics thing. But that's insane. I think the first 32 graphic game besides that was made in like the early 2000s. Way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And so, I think Mega Man 5 takes this.
I don't think so, because the action, this one just feels more cinematic.
Yeah, it feels more cinematic, but Mega Man 5's as well. Mega Man 5 has quite some crazy action. Like, there's this giant Giga Chad over here, I gotta slide under him, or maybe I have to jump over him, or something.
But that's
like
more
that.
like interpretation. This game just actually feels and looks epic. You have to fight this...
Well, I mean...
I will admit, most of it comes from the graphics, but the music as well in this game, it's also a banger.
Mega Man 5's OST, please.
Mega Man 5's OST is better, I agree. But the final boss theme, oh shit, that's a banger.
Okay, I'll be honest, Mega Man 5's final boss theme is terrible.
Yeah, the final boss theme in this game, though, oh my god, I could rock out to this final boss theme for days. It's so good. So cinematic.
Wanna know what final boss theme I could do, though?
What?
Or that I could listen to? Mega Man 6's.
Yeah.
It is... I don't even know how they can press that on an NES.
Me neither, bro. I feel like this one would also be a tie.
Well, I mean, we can't end it in a tie. Wanna do rock, paper, scissors?
Nah, man. I feel it's either a tie or Vectorman wins.
I'm going to put it at a tie because it's just too close to say, because you have a more advanced system, which makes this very unfair. But I'm not going to be that kid on the playground that's like, oh, I want a turn, this isn't fair. I'm not going to be one of those guys.
So that means, in total, since Vectorman won the first round, then next round was a tie, that means Vectorman won.
No, because we're putting it at this one at a tie.
Yeah. So that means I got 3 points and you have 2.
Should we just negotiate on this a little bit longer, or...
It came down to this, bro.
I don't know, because again, the Genesis was so much more advanced.
Exactly, that's why it won the action category.
And this game came out so much longer than the 5th entry of Mega Man.
Okay, let's just do this. We'll let the comments decide, because this is just built off pure bias.
Okay, so let's just say this. Neither of us win.
Yeah. We'll let the comments decide.
Comment section is going to tell us.
Yeah.
So you in the comments, again, don't want to be one of those people who are like, oh, please like and subscribe. Just please tell us what you think is the better game.
Yeah.
And even go as far to say, make your own list if you want.
Yeah.
And express with us what you think is best, like your favorite games and stuff like that. Thank you for listening to this podcast, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something else you guys should do. Don't put anything sus down. Josh, do you want to make a title for this? We're also gonna do a few more episodes like this.
Yeah, where I have him in on. We actually decided what our next video together is gonna be. We'll not spoil it, but it is a another type of podcast type things.
Yeah, it's one of these long podcast things.
So yeah, that's all we really have to say. Anything else you want to add on, Drake?
I just want to say thank you so much for letting me have my first YouTube experience. And I'm also happy that we haven't fought yet, ever.
Yeah.
Or, especially here, because it would be pretty embarrassing to fight you on recording of this, so. That's nice.
So yeah, I think we're
something
gonna...
else I want to remind the chat, Josh, before we end this. So sometimes, super sorry about this chat, but, it's sometimes cut out. So if I'm right where I said that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is great, it might sound like I'm saying, like, Mike Tyson's, Punch-Out is really, really great. Like, I might say really twice. Because it cut out, and then I'll have to come back.
Sorry about
if that
guys.
happens, yeah, sorry about that. If that happens, you can actually, inform us about it and tell us where it happened, and, if you put the exact time that it happened on the YouTube, in the YouTube comments, like if you do 5 minutes, and 30 seconds, we can actually click on that and it'll show us where we screwed up.
Yeah.
So,
it would be nice to know where we screwed up.
Yeah, because then we can reflect on it and be like, okay, we need to fix this for the next podcast. I'll say podcast.
So yeah.
Stretch.
So yeah, that's it for today's video. And yeah, once Drake gets his TikTok back up, and once he starts his YouTube channel, which he's thinking on making, go check it out. What's your TikTok name?
drakemoto25. That is DRAKE MOTO, no spaces, with 25 at the end.
Yep. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Sorry that this is an hour long, over an hour long, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Before we finish this off, actually, I want to credit the two of us, S.P.R.I.T.E Studios 2010. I want to thank you for doing all these edits, and I want to thank you for adding me on this channel for the first time ever. That is really cool, especially since I have a math test tomorrow. This is really calming my nerves. So thank you so much for this. I really appreciate coming on here. Have a good night, everybody, and I hope to see you in the next podcast video we make.
Bye.
Bye, guys.